Hi, everyone, and welcome to the new episode of the Releasing the Real You show, where we talk about everything that's anything got to do with gluten-free, celiac disease, and anything health related that can help anyone that needs to live a gluten-free life. So this month we have Ashley. Ashley, welcome. Ashley is the mom of Lily, who has celiac disease. So, Ashley, um, how did you realize that your daughter was celiac? How old was she?
So Lily's now 13.
Okay.
When she was diagnosed, she was 16 months old,
Oh,
so
wow.
quite young. And it was probably from about the age of weaning that I noticed she started becoming a lot more. She was quite a clingy child, but she started becoming a lot more clingy. She would cry all the time. She would never be put down. She would only be comforted by me. And she was quite a constipated child, but so was my eldest. So I didn't sort of think too much of that. And then she'd be randomly sick quite often on a school run, which I think,
Mm.
thinking back now, I think it was probably related to what she'd eaten for breakfast.
Yeah.
So, for example, if she had Weetabix, I think that
Mm.
might have been one of the reasons. And then I'd taken her to be weighed, and she'd lost quite a lot of weight from the previous time I'd taken her. So the health visitor at the time said to me, if she loses any more weight by the next time we come, we might refer her to the GP to be looked at. But anyway, at the time we were staying with my parents because we were having some work done on our house, and my mum said to me, "I don't think it's normal the amount that she cries." So I thought, okay, maybe I will just go to the GP myself anyway. So, and I saw an amazing GP. As soon as I explained the symptoms to her, she straight away said, "Sounds like celiac disease to me. Let me refer you." At which point I was like, "What is
Oh,
celiac
wow.
disease? I've never heard of it." So yeah, she referred us to a pediatrician who organised some blood test, and we had that, I would say, within a month of the GP appointment, and then a month after we had the blood test, and then I got a phone call to say she has celiac disease and switch her on to a gluten-free diet.
Oh,
So it
wow.
was in the space of about 3 months. It was so quick, which I know is very
Actually,
unheard of.
really lucky, yeah,
Very
compared to,
lucky.
all the
Yeah.
stuff that we hear around.
No.
This is really, I mean, as you
Yeah.
say, you had a switched on GP. I had a switched on GP as well,
Yes.
so I was very lucky as
That
well.
is lucky. Yeah.
But yes, when you hear stories
I
about,
know, yeah, it can take years, can't it?
yeah,
So yeah, I do feel very lucky that we got a quick diagnosis, but it was almost sort of quite a shock as well because I think we'd never heard of it, didn't really know what it entailed. But once changing her onto a gluten-free diet, within about a week, there was such a difference. She was so happy, she was smiling, and we hadn't had any of that before. She was just miserable, grumpy, bad-tempered. So from that side of it, it was amazing.
oh, wow, amazing. So you said you hadn't heard of it before. There's no
No.
one in, did you all get tested as well, or?
Yes, we've been tested. None of us have celiac disease. So,
Um,
yeah, she's the only one that we know of.
yep.
Um, my nan did have quite a lot of stomach issues. So, we wonder if it's come from there somewhere. But obviously,
Same with
never
me.
tested.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
No
So,
one has it, and but I know my grandma, she passed away when I was 7, but so we'll never know.
no.
I remember her having all kinds of digestive issues, so
Yes.
who knows?
Yes. That's it. Yeah. It's come from somewhere.
So the rest of the family is okay. So
Yes.
it's quite an interesting one, really. How do you deal with it on a day-to-day basis? Do you all eat gluten-free, or do you?
Yeah, so a majority of our meals are gluten free. Like all the pasta we have is gluten free. We actually prefer it.
Mhm.
And then within the kitchen, what I have done is we basically have a gluten area. So the majority of our kitchen is actually gluten free, and then there's just sort of an area of the kitchen where there's a cupboard full of gluten snacks for my eldest, and bread, and then they have sort of my husband and my daughter sort of have that area where they use for making their sandwiches and toast and bits and pieces. I eat a lot of gluten free with Lily. I tend to eat a lot of naturally gluten free stuff anyway. And then we have separate pans for her, separate chopping boards. I use stickers for things like the butters. So she'll have the top shelf of the fridge. And then I'll sticker all her butters and condiments and things. So just in case anyone accidentally picks up the wrong one, they'll realise with this big purple sticker on it.
Yep.
And then things like the oven. If I am cooking gluten at the same time, I'll always put Lily's food at the top. But that majority of the dinners we make are gluten free. It'll only be something like maybe a pizza, where my eldest daughter doesn't like the gluten free pizzas, so I would cook those gluten and the gluten free pizza.
And how is it? Obviously, at the time, your other, now she's a bit older, but your other kids were a bit younger as well.
Yeah.
How did you make sure that things were staying in the right place?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. So she was probably about 4 at the time when she was diagnosed, 4 going on 5. And I think, yeah, I mean, it's hard to remember it now, but I
Mhm.
don't really remember there being major issues. I think we always did food and snacks would be eaten at the table so I could control it more.
Yep.
So there wasn't sort of crumbs around the house. And yeah, we just tried I would always, if I'm preparing gluten food, I would always have done her food
First.
first
Yep.
so that I know hers is safe, and then I would prepare the gluten food afterwards. But yeah, I mean, generally, her sister's really good with her as well. She's really understanding, and yeah, she's good as well when we're out as well, and she understands that she can't necessarily go somewhere where she wants to go because Lily wouldn't be able to eat there, which
Yep.
sometimes is a bit unfair on her as well. So she
Mm.
gets treats when Lily's not around.
Fair
Uh,
enough.
yeah.
Yeah. And how do you deal with it? Or how does Lily deal with it? Both of you actually, at school, at parties, socializing. Because I think, I look at myself. So I was diagnosed as an adult. I don't know how I would have dealt with it as a kid, actually.
No.
I can say no, thank you, or I'm not going, or I
Yes.
do whatever. But as a child, it must be really hard.
Tricky, yeah. I mean, I think one good thing for her is that she doesn't know any different.
Okay.
So she's always been gluten free, so she doesn't.
Mhm.
For her, there's nothing she can miss as well. Obviously,
Yeah.
she can be jealous of things her friends have, but from that side of it, I think that makes it a little bit easier. For school, she always has a packed lunch because she had an incident in her primary school where they had given her the wrong pudding, which had a biscuit on it, which she had taken a bite of, and then it got switched out. And she got quite poorly from that, obviously. And so from then onwards, she was like, no, I'm not putting my trust in the school to cook my food. So she always have a packed lunch at school. Food technology was a bit tricky to start with, trying to work out the best way around it. But now she goes into a separate room with a few of her friends in the same room, which are sort of scattered about on different stations, and she's got her own area with her own cooking box that is completely for her, and she loves it because now she's just in this room with her friends and a tech assistant,
Mhm.
and everyone's jealous of her really.
Okay.
And then things like, I suppose, going out and parties, staying at friends, it's slightly different now because before I could control it a lot more because I would either be there or I would talk to the mum, or whereas
Mhm.
secondary is slightly different, you kind of lose that a little bit.
Yeah.
So there's some mums that I am in contact with, and they've been great. Whenever she's been there, they've got the cross contamination. They've listened to everything I've said. Cook her food on the top. I often you'd say to use baking paper on trays
Mhm.
to avoid any sort of cross
Yeah.
contamination. She's also really likes the noodle pots that Tesco's do. So she will take, if she's feeling a bit unsure about eating somewhere, she will take one of those with her because she can just make that herself and control it,
Mhm.
and she doesn't have to worry too much. And then I suppose for parties, now it's more they go out, I suppose, somewhere and might eat somewhere for dinner. So far so good. It's been great. Her friends have sort of asked where she can and can't eat, and they've kind of booked around that, which has been really helpful.
Yeah.
But obviously, if it's somewhere she hasn't eaten before, then I would do all the necessary, make the phone calls to find out whether they can A, cater for her, and B, safely cater for her.
Mhm.
And then obviously I would probably in advance go through the menu with Lily to explain everything that she can and can't have.
Yeah.
And obviously
What
let
do
the
you think?
parents know.
Yeah, I know. It must be becoming harder as she
Yes,
grows
yeah,
up.
I think as she goes out on her own, it is
Yeah.
definitely trickier.
Yeah. Yeah. How
Um,
does she feel though? when it comes to, is she tempted, not tempted, or does
She
she
knows
know
how poorly.
yeah, she knows.
Yeah, she knows how poorly it makes her. If anything, she's more the other way. She's so scared of eating something that sometimes she overthinks things a bit too much, and she'll question food, and she'll want to see ingredients all the time. She did have struggle with some anxiety around that coming out of lockdown, and I think that was due to the sort of the constant hand washing, going back into schools, and the being at home and feeling safe and not having to worry about being out
Yeah.
and being around gluten, that she'd become quite anxious about being near any sort of gluten or crumbs.
Hmm.
Whereas now she's a lot better, but she is very, very worried about being ill. And even now at home, she'll have eaten something and she'll suddenly have a panic and say, "Oh, I think it's got gluten in it." And we'll have to, dig through the bin to get the ingredients out. And no, it's fine. It's something you've eaten before.
Yeah. Must be
That's
quite
quite, it is
quite
quite tricky.
stressful.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
definitely.
And I think even eating out, if it's somewhere new, it would take a lot of, I almost feel like I have to do like a bit of a therapy session with her when I'm at the restaurant to sort of talk her through everything, explain it to her. When we get the server to come over and re-explain it, she'll often want me to ask several times, is it definitely gluten free? Is it definitely gluten free?
I think when something comes out that looks totally normal, you kind of do ask questions.
Yeah,
You do
exactly.
wonder. And,
Yes,
we all heard of mistakes that have been made.
yes, exactly.
So, I totally understand that. Yeah, definitely. Do you tend to just go to um, celiac approved restaurants, or do you go anywhere and just
We do tend to stick to the restaurants that we know are safe,
Mhm.
just because I know that she's going to feel more comfortable there. But I think if she knows it's somewhere where I've done the research and she can see herself, then she is happy to try places. It makes her more anxious. So
Yeah.
I do tend to try and go somewhere that, yeah, like you say, celiac accredited, or we have eaten several times and she knows it's okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
It just makes it easier.
It definitely does. That
Yeah.
I totally agree. Even, even later on, it kind of makes a huge difference. Same. I go to places that I know.
Yeah, that's it.
I've spoken to the waiter or I've spoken to the chef,
Yes,
and
yeah.
I feel comfortable eating there for
That's it.
sure.
You,
Yeah.
you can you can gauge by how they answer questions, can't
Yes.
you, that you propose to them, and if they know what they're talking about straight away, it makes you feel more confident,
Yeah.
more happy to eat there.
Mm. So, what do you think is the hardest part living a gluten-free life as a child, but also as a mum of a child with
Yeah.
celiac disease?
I suppose there's probably two things really. One is that we can't go out and be spontaneous
Yeah.
because everything involves being planning. We can't just go and grab some food on the go quickly. We have to have done the research. And I think for her as well, now starting to go out a bit more with her friends without me, it's knowing that she can easily get food while she's out and about as she needs to. And then I think the other thing that is probably the cross contamination, explaining that to other people. So a lot of people just see it as, oh, you have to eat gluten free, which
Mhm.
is so much bigger than that, isn't it? I think it's getting people to understand that, yes, even a crumb can make her poorly. And yes, we can't share the butter or the board or the area it's been prepared in. I think it's that side of it that
Yeah,
there needs to be more awareness around so that
definitely.
people can
I mean,
understand.
to be honest, even gluten-free, I had a chat with my mum the other day, and she said she was explaining to someone else what gluten-free meant. She said, "Oh, she can't have any flour." I'm like, "Well, what about oats? What about rye?
Yeah,
What about spelt? What about?"
yeah.
And she said, "Oh, I didn't think of that."
Yes.
Mm,
Yeah, that's
so,
the thing, isn't it? I think people just they don't really think of it as
yeah.
anything else. And also I think because it's quite often a bit of a faddy diet as well, I don't think some people will take it that seriously because they just think, oh, you're just on one of them gluten-free diets.
Mm, definitely,
Not the case.
definitely. Do you have any worries for the future? I mean, obviously, Lily is going to be out and about much more, and
Yes.
late teens, uni, and etc., where blending in or being part of the crowd is probably an important part of
Yes, definitely.
growing up.
Yeah.
Do you have any fears about that? Do you?
Yes, I think it's one, it's having friends, I suppose, that are going to accept her, which so far primary and secondary friends have been amazing. So I think, it's just knowing that she's going to have that people that are going to be accommodating to say, okay, you can't eat here, that's fine, we'll go and eat somewhere else. I don't want her to ever feel that she's being made to feel uncomfortable because she can't go somewhere.
Mhm.
And then I suppose the other thing really is her having the confidence to speak up because she's quite shy. And at the moment, she still likes me to do a lot of the talking when we go places or restaurants. And I'm trying to encourage her to do it more herself, but she's always says, no, you do it for me. But I want her to be able to have that confidence to say, actually, no, I can't eat that, or no, I don't feel safe. So
Yeah,
yeah, I'm just hoping that's my kind of worry is
I
that
think
she
that's a
won't,
massive one.
and she maybe then might go somewhere and not eat because she
Yeah.
doesn't feel safe or she doesn't want to speak up
Mhm.
or yeah, she doesn't feel comfortable.
But that's okay as well, I think. I mean, I was last week, I was back in Belgium with my mum, and, she went out with some friends, and I was there, and they had pancakes, and I had a cup of tea.
Oh,
And that's,
yeah.
yeah, obviously in the past, I would have liked to have my pancakes as well.
Yes,
But
yeah.
I got to the point where the first year I said, I'm not going if you're having pancakes. I don't
Yeah.
want to sit there
No.
and see. And now I'm kind of, yeah, whatever,
Yeah.
I'll just go and enjoy the company and just have a
Yes. Yeah.
tea. So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
You can still be there.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of, you have to get to that stage for sure, but I'm sure she'll get there as well,
I mean,
where
at the moment, she's quite happy taking her own food along if she
yeah.
goes somewhere or does something. But I think there will come a point where she probably thinks, oh, I actually don't want to take my food. I want to be able to have what everyone else is having as well.
Mm,
But yeah, I mean, she would never be tempted by anything, which I know. So that's
that's
one good thing.
that's a good thing. Yeah,
Yeah, I think
definitely.
she would rather just not eat
Yeah.
than eat something that was going to make her ill.
Yeah. No, that's good. Hopefully she's not too often ill. I mean, I have to say, so far it hasn't happened very often because I'm really am careful. It's just not worth it. But I know
No,
some
it's not worth
others.
it, is it?
I know some others who, don't think the same, and I'm like, oh, okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
not
exactly.
good, is it?
No, not good at all.
No.
Yeah. So, what would be your top three tips for any mom or parent of a child that gets diagnosed with celiac disease? Do you have any
Yeah.
things that,
I suppose one would be to take it day by day because I think at the beginning it's very overwhelming when you first get diagnosed, especially when you haven't seen, heard anything about it.
yeah,
And there is a lot of information to take in. So I think it's just, yeah, take it day by day, try not to feel too overwhelmed. And I mean, it's okay to cry as well because it's quite an emotional roller coaster that you're going on dealing with the diagnosis. My other top tip would be to sign up Celiac UK because I think, especially for me, when we were found out Lily was diagnosed, it was sort of 12 years ago, so there wasn't that much support around. So we signed up to Celiac UK. They have so much support, so much information on there. Now they've got the app where you can scan products as well to check. So that's been really
did you
useful.
use a lot of their support or their helpline?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was really, really helpful in the beginning.
Mhm.
And then I think as well is finding gluten-free communities.
Yeah.
So when Lily was diagnosed, it was only really a few Facebook groups that were around, but now there's so many more Facebook groups. There's the whole community on Instagram, which is just amazing. It's been so supportive.
Mhm.
Since we've been on there. It's just been amazing. I'll definitely recommend anybody to set up an Instagram page and follow as many gluten-free bloggers as you possibly can because they've got so much useful information and advice. And I tend to find out things on Instagram first before anything else.
Especially places to go and eat.
Yes, exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah, and where to avoid.
Yeah,
That's the other one.
that as
Yeah,
well.
and I think my third one would be that you don't need to shop in the free from aisle for everything. So there's lots of things that they sell in the free from aisle, like mayonnaises and different condiments that you don't need to buy in there. You can shop around in the shops. You just need to get used to reading the labels and what to look out for.
Yeah.
So I found browse is really helpful. The barley, rye, oats, wheat, spelt, and
Yeah.
then obviously any may contains. But yeah, once you've nailed the reading the labels, then yeah, it's so much easier to
Yeah, I
find
just
out when
I
you're
just
wrong.
complained recently because when I go and do that, I do now need reading
Oh,
glasses,
do you?
which is a pain.
Yeah,
You
that
go
is a
to the
pain.
supermarket because they're always also so
Yeah,
small as
exactly.
well.
And I
So
find ordering online is quite useful. I don't know if they all do it, but we often get from Tesco's, and they've got a filter on there, so you can filter by no gluten. So
yeah,
you can type in what you're looking for, filter by no gluten, and it will bring everything up that doesn't contain gluten. So that's
even the
beneficial.
non-gluten-free products.
Yes.
Oh wow, okay, I didn't know that.
Yes, that's not in the free from section. Yeah. So if you
Wow.
typed in crisps, for example, you
Yeah.
could then on the I think it's called the lifestyle section, you
Mhm.
click on there and it's got no gluten. You tick on that and it'll bring up everything that doesn't contain gluten. So
That's
yeah, it's really, really
that's
helpful.
a fab tip because I didn't know that at all. I mean, I
Ah,
don't really do online shop. I like to go to the shop,
yes, yeah,
but that's a great tip
yeah,
for
it's
sure.
helpful. Yeah, I don't know if they all do it, but I know Tesco's do.
Fantastic. Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
That's a great tip. There we go. So thanks for that.
that's all right.
I'm sure it's going to help lots of other people. And it's also good, even if you don't shop, to just check. So one of the things I do often is just check on the supermarket, and then when I'm out and about, I go and buy it.
Yes, yeah,
So
no, that's a
that's
good
actually
idea as
quite
well.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, great. So if people want to follow your journey and Lily's journey, obviously, where can they get hold of you?
So we are on Instagram, and our Instagram handle is thumbs up for gluten free.
There you go. Perfect. I'm going to put that as well in the information of the show as well, so
Lovely, thank
people
you.
can come and follow you.
Lovely.
And yeah, I know you put quite a lot of content on there, which is great.
Yeah.
So I've been following you for probably a year now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh,
So,
that's good.
so yeah,
Yeah.
it's all
Yeah.
good.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, Lily likes to do lots of baking, as you've probably seen. So she's
Yes,
become
I
quite the little
have.
baker now.
Yeah, no, which is
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
Yeah,
Does
yeah. I
she?
mean, that's one of the good things I think to come out of her celiac disease because we often say, I don't know if she wasn't celiac, I don't know that we bake as much because we wouldn't be trying to recreate things that she couldn't eat and making birthday cakes for families so that she can enjoy them as well. So yeah, I think that's
Her
one of the
cakes
one
are
of the
amazing,
positives.
though. I
Yeah,
mean, the
no,
way she
she's yeah,
decorates the cakes and stuff,
she
it's
is, yeah,
really
yeah.
great.
No, she's really good,
Yeah,
and her sister's good as well. So yeah, they're both the budding little bakers.
fantastic.
Yeah.
That is good. And yeah, I always say cooking from scratch and baking from scratch is one healthier and
Yes.
so much tastier as well. So
Yes, definitely. Completely agree.
fantastic.
And
Well,
cheaper.
might see her on Bake Off.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
And hope everyone enjoyed the show. And go and follow Ashley and Lily on Instagram. And I will see you all next month for the next episode.
Okay, thank you.
Let me find the stop recording. There we go. No?